I think it is 6 o'clock. Can we start now?
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all of you to today's webinar, Write It Right, Mastering the Art of Case Report Writing, organized by the Research Administrative Society of GAIMS, J&K chapter. Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to introduce GAIMS. The Global Association of Indian Medical Students is a vibrant community of over 9,000 medical students and professionals, spanning 20 state chapters and 5 international chapters, working together to create a global impact in healthcare. I'm Anadya Handa, State Director of RESOG J&K chapter, hosting today's session with my ADs Anab and Nathishri. We are delighted to welcome our speaker for today's session, Dr. Rahul Gupta, Associate Professor in the Department of Urology and Renal Transplant at GMC Jammu. Dr. Gupta specializes in advanced endourology laparoscopy and has a strong academic background as a DRNB teacher and examiner. With over 50 PubMed Index publications, he is a renowned expert in his field. Dr. Gupta also has been an invited speaker and operating faculty at various national and international workshops and conferences, and has held roles such as ex-member of the endourology subsection of Urological Society of India and ex-council member of North Zone Urological Society of India. Currently, he serves as a sub-editor for Clinical Urology, General Urology, and is also a reviewer for the Indian Journal of Urology. Recently, he took on the role of organizing secretary for the first midterm NZ-USI 2024. We welcome you, sir. We are grateful to Dr. Gupta for taking out the time to share his insights with us. Without further ado, let's get started with today's session, Mastering the Art of Case Report Writing. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Anadya. Am I visible?
Yes, sir, you're visible.
Are my slides visible?
Yes, sir.
And hope I'm audible also.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So thank you for having me. And I'm very happy that the students at your age and your things are interested in publishing something. And today we'll take a class on mastering the art of case report writing. So the case report, when we talk about a case report, let me introduce you what is a case report. This is how I'll take my slides further. Why to write a case report in the first place? What is the role of a journal? Which journal to select? There are thousands and thousands of journal available, and which journal to select? What is a predator journal? You are putting up a case report, you worked so hard, now you're going to put it into a journal. And if that journal is not good enough or is a predator journal, so all your work goes to, it's not good. You feel bad about it once it's published, because once it's published, you cannot go and publish again. So what is the role of artificial intelligence in paper writing? Now, this is going to come up in a big way with your generation being smarter than ours. So, but I'll let you know what not to do with the AI in paper writing so that not to land up in trouble. And what is plagiarism? This is very important, and how to avoid it. Because if in the beginning of your career, if you are labeled as your name comes in the few articles in which there is plagiarism, then it becomes very difficult to, take that blotch off your things and publish later on in your life. So let's start from what is a case report. So before I start further, if there are any questions, I think they can put in the chat box, and whoever is the coordinator can get back at the end of it. What is a case report? Case reports are usually described as unusual or novel occurrence that provides new idea in medicine. And most journals publish case reports that deal with one or more of the following, as I'll discuss, which has been an unusual observation from the routine se hatke, which is not a routine, which has something adverse response to a therapy. So whenever we are doing a therapy in any form, in a surgical form, in a medical form, and the response, is something very different, which is not expected, can be reported as a case report. There is an unusual combination of conditions leading to confusion. Sometimes you look at a case, you feel it's a direct, simple case, but it doesn't fall in the 1 and 1 is not 2 when it is coming 11. So then also it comes in the category of a case report. You can publish that. The illustration of a new theory, you saw something and you see something which is very different. I'll give you an example of that. And questions regarding the current theory. If you feel there is something happening, but this is not correct, the science is all about that. So what is relevant today will not be relevant after 5 or 10 years. So it's very important to question science and work which is being done today. Why do we write a case report? As a beginner, I really, it's very important for a beginner like you people who are just going to pass out from the MBBS, going to start your careers as interns. You should show your inclination towards writing a case report. You write a case. You will never be given a review of literature or a case series or something to write on an article on a subject, because as a beginner you have access to scientific material is limited. Your knowledge regarding the science and subject is limited. The case report is like a baby steps. You take big leaps only when you take baby steps. You just can't jump into a review of literature or a bigger article or full length article before knowing what is a case report. The publications come slightly easy, so it help you. It boosts your confidence. The confidence helps to achieve more. Once you have written a case report and it gets published in a reputed journal, so you feel that you are in that league that you can publish. It really impacts your personal CV, because nobody will ask how many marks you have taken, even if you have been an average student in MBBS. But if you have a good CV by the publications, the people know that this person is scientifically oriented person. It helps in medical legal issues. In the future, now the things have changed. So if there's something goes wrong with somebody and is taken to the court of law, but if there is an incidence or a rarity has happened, so you cannot be taken as a negligence. So if there is a publication is there, it will help you to save your life sometimes later on in the future when you're practicing medicine. So that is important. Select a journal. Why is it important to select a journal? So I'm giving you an example of an Indian Journal of Urology. Look at your topic. If you are working in a cardiology segment and you see something is very rare and you see your consultants are sitting and discussing at the bedside, yaar, ye to humne kabhi dekha hi nahi hai. So that should, blink that this is a rare thing. Let me go and see the literature. What is that? But you can't publish that cardiology thing in an Indian Journal of Urology. So you should know what journal to aim for, in which department you are working. So relevance means that what you need to see or feel ensures that the research resonates with the real, the journal in which you want to publish. It's about making sure of the findings of the study are not just theoretical, but have practical implications. So if it is a case report, how is it practically impacting the literature? I'll give you an example later on that enriching clinical practice, policy making, sometimes it can change the policy, and society well-being. So when you publish something, this all helps because this is recorded. So now whenever you want to, go to a particular journal, you can ask your seniors, take the help from a senior, I want to get this published. What is a journal I would like, I should see to go and see. Whenever you go to a journal, you look at two things. One is you need to register in that journal. So you have to make a login ID and a password so that you can access that journal. And second most important component is information for the authors. So you got to, have all the info. You got to read this important. Why you have to read this is because if you don't read, you will not be able to, make the article accordingly. And if you don't make the article accordingly, the journal will not accept it and your hard work will go haywire. So it doesn't make sense. So I'm taking the quote from this Indian Journal of Urology, which states that interesting cases highlights issues that are relevant to practicing urologists will be considered. The case and their rarity of unlikely to be accepted. Only because something is rare, you have not seen it before, does not make it a case report. I hope you get my point what I'm saying. The only that which makes a difference in the life of a practicing physician, a urologist, cardiologist, endocrinologist, anybody, will be published early as a case report, not just because you feel it is something very rare, so it will be published. So that you should be aware of what to get published and what will not get published. So whenever you see a case report, there is a non-structured abstract, or the publication goes like this. There will be, abstract will be given like to 100 words. In this case, like systemic review, the abstract is 250 words. But for a case report, it is 100 words. So it is very important. Every journal has their own way of accepting case reports. They have their own norms. So whichever journal you want to pick up, you should go through that. What is happening, the length of the articles, how many figures and tables they want to give. Suppose I want to publish in Indian Journal of Urology and I submit 4 tables and go beyond 1500 words and submit everything after the hard work. After 5 days down the line, they will send back your article that this does not fit into our pedigram. So you have to revise that thing. So it is always better to do the initial work first, because the editor feels that you're not very keen to get it published, or you're not very aware of the things. So it is a bad impression. So this should not happen. Like in this case, this is the basic of a normal article on the left side. So there will be introduction, material methods, results, and conclusion, which is not the case with the what we do here in a for a publication for an abstract. I'll give you, this is an abstract you have to publish. It is called as unstructured abstract, in which this is a structured abstract. Abstract means in which there is introduction, material methods, results, and conclusion. But for a case report, it is an unstructured abstract. We have just published this article. That is why I'm showing you this thing. This was regarding encrusted cystitis in a rare morbid disease. So we have published this thing. So instruction to authors is very, very, very important. So how do you present and how do you format? So you have to go through all the things in the, when you go for the instruction for the authors. If you don't go through that, so that is not a good thing, and that will, it will not be appreciated, and your article will come back immediately. So how do you, this is the chart which every student should go through once they want to publish the things. And for case reports, it is a care statement, which is you go to this site, you can click this slide picture, and you can go to this website, and there all the checkpoints are there. So you go through all the checkpoints before you want to submit the article for a case report publication. So what are the important components? There will be a title. The title of a case report should always be catchy and precise. It should not be vague, because the title is the first thing that an editor or a sub-editor will read. And if the title is good, only then that paper is taken further. The abstract is the gist, heart, and soul of the paper submitted. So it is very important. The first thing they read will be the abstract. And if the abstract is wanting, then your paper will come back immediately. Keywords. What are the keywords? The keywords are the one, like if I have to publish an article on something like cancer of the bladder. So how do I search the net? How do I search the Google? I'll put bladder, urinary bladder, cancer of bladder, and things like that. So that is the keywords. If my article, which I published before, or somebody else has published before and has put those keywords, his research will come on the screen immediately. And then the people will follow that research. It will be cited more number of times. So you will be credited for that. Case details should be crisp, to the point, should stress on the rarity and the novelty you want to bring out. It should not be vague and should not be repetitive. You should not use the things, they should not get repeated, because the word count given to you is already limited to 1000 or 800 or 500 words. So you have to choose your words very specifically. Discussion. This is the last part of any case report. It should justify why you feel your case is rare. Discuss the rarity or how your publication adds to the literature, helping others. Explain what is new without exaggerating. You should never, in a publication, use exaggerating words. Discuss the perspectives, implications, and impact on available literature or search. Because if you are repetitive, then you send an article to any of the journals, they will just send you politely back that this is already been published and this does not add to the literature, so we are sending it back to you. Like now here, this is very important, permissions. You must obtain the permission from all the co-authors who are submitting the article, because this is important. Without that, again, your article will come back. The most important component is the bibliography, which a lot of people don't take care of. If your bibliography is not cited according to what you have put up in the discussion, like 1, 2, 3, 4, though it will come back to you. Or every journal has their own way of citing the references. Like in this case, this is the standard ICJME guidelines are standard. You can go to their website and see how some journal is getting it published or citing the bibliography. So if there is any any issue with any of the points, your article is going to come back and you have to work doubly hard to get it published again. So I'll just give you an example. Now, this is what I published recently, that an incidental paraganglioma of urinary bladder, a rarity and a urologist nightmare. So what I want to tell you is that paraganglioma of urinary bladder is rare, but it's not that rare that people have not seen it. So I've seen it for the first time. No, it is not like that. So we have seen it, but how we want to get it published is we give it a title which is very catchy, which when the editor reads, he feels that this is something very different. Let me read the article and see what it is in there. And then keywords, these are the keywords which we had given. So anybody who wants to look at my research, he can always go there and look at what is there. So this was the abstract we had submitted, in which we highlighted that it is a very uncommon tumor that accounts for less than 0.05% of bladder tumors. And what we added to the literature was that though bladder paraganglioma is a rare condition, it should raise a great suspicion if there is a sudden change in hemodynamics at the very start of the procedure in the patients who have no definitive symptoms of the disease. If the patient had come with the definitive symptoms, then it is not rare, because there is a bizarre presentation of the symptoms, so it makes it rare. So that is how we got our paper published. So this is the publication. You can see it is 25th of April. We just received it about 2 days back that it has been published, and it is my resident who has published this. So it is his first article, he has published it. So again, a case report is important. Now it will give him confidence that he is in that league to publish. He knows how to research the literature and how to get the things published. Some journals do ask for payment. Now you have to look it before you want to submit the article, and you can look whether you can afford that journal or not. Like this is a journal, Indian journal, which charges 6,000 rupees plus 18% of the GST, or $150. So if you have done a very good case report, you have sent it to a journal, they accepted this thing, and then they tell you we want to charge 40,000 rupees, and suddenly you say, oh, ye to humne dekha hi nahi tha. So that is not acceptable. So whenever you are going through the instruction for the authors, you should look for any paid. They are called as APCs, that article processing charges. So, and if you have a photograph in that, they will charge you extra for that. So henceforth, so you should look this before you want to submit your article for a case report. So now, what is a predator journal? What do you mean by a predator journal? So when you go to the Google and you want to look for a journal, you will be really confused. There are so many journals popping up that you really don't know which journal should I, submit my research to. So what is a predator journal? It is defined as a fraudulent or a deceptive journal, or also called as pseudo journals. The pseudo journals that claim to be legitimate scholarly journals. See, the journal scholarly, when do we use the word scholarly? When you are publishing something, you become a scholar. You are different from your colleagues when you are publishing. So you become more a scholar, a more scholarly person, because your work is cited in literature, which will stay there forever, whether you are there or not. But these journals put a misrepresentation. They behave as a scholarly journal, but they are not. Some common forms of predatory publishing practices include falsely claiming to provide peer review. If it is not a peer reviewed journal, don't publish your work there. It's a predator journal. They are hiding the information about APCs. So they are welcoming you. They're putting you with the emails. Please come and send your article. We need your article. You send it them. They will say, we have accepted it. Now kindly submit 40,000, 50,000, $100, $200 for further, charges, which is not good. So that means it is a predator journal who is not disclosing the information. They are misrepresenting members of journal editorial board. What is there is, so if there's somebody big name in gynecology, so if he or she is on the editorial board of that journal, so we believe that it is a scholarly journal, which is not the case. So because he or she is not a part of, they are just falsifying the information to you. Other violations of copyright and scholarly ethics means they can further, they can further take away your data, and you can be robbed of your data. So you should be very sure what is a predator journal. Jeffrey Bale is a librarian at the University of Colorado, Denver, who credited for coining the term predatory publishers. When we were students, this was not the case, but with internet, penetrating to the vast areas, tier 2, tier 1 cities, now these journals have become very common. So again, it claims to be peer reviewed, open access, but does not provide you the peer review. They may advertise unrealistic timeline for publication. So if still I have papers which I have sent for publication, and it is 2 months, there is no response. But these predator journals, within a week time, they will say, or 5 days, that we have accepted your article for publication, which is wrong. Now again, there may be a lot of grammatical mistakes in your things. Still, what they will do is they will not edit. They will just say, okay, fine, no problem, we'll publish it. So again, you should be very sure that these should not be predatory journals. They aggressively target potential authors through emails. Like the younger ones, you have an Orchid ID. They will see that how many publications you have. And if they know that you are a person who likes publishing, they will be sending you aggressive emails, will be coming to you. And suddenly you feel that you have become very scholarly, but that is not the case. These are the predatory journals, which they just want your work, and that's it. So beware of them. Now, this is very important topic. It is plagiarism. You are students. I hope you're all MBBS students. Now tomorrow you will become interns, and then you'll become postgraduates. The plagiarism is a one which is absolute no-no. Academic and professional writing, plagiarism is generally not acceptable at all. it has serious consequences. So beware of that. Academic settings means thesis about 0 to 5% of similarity. Similarity means the references or quotes, like you may write that in our urology, like PCNL is the best way of treating kidney stones. So that is not plagiarism. That is similarity. So there is a difference between similarity and plagiarism. About 10% if you go, then it raises the red flags. Understand that if you are smart, your teachers or those who are getting the things published are smarter than you. Now they have a lot of softwares in which the tools like Curitin or I Authenticate, which even you can have. And if you were written some article, you can just put that into that software and see what is the ratio of plagiarism. And if you feel that it is beyond 5%, you should immediately revise your paper, rewrite your paper, rephrase your paper, and put it again, so that the plagiarism or a similarity should come to less than 5%. It is ideal, but some papers accept up to 10%. So it is important to understand plagiarism. Now, what's considered plagiarism? Copy pasting of a text. Suppose I've written an article and you want to write the article on the same thing. You cannot copy and paste the case report. In that thing, you cannot just copy and paste and put it and claim it to be your work. Paraphrasing too closely to the original without attribution is unacceptable. Self-plagiarism means reusing your own work without disclosure. So if you have published it before, or your senior has published by his or her name, you cannot republish the same data or the same case report in any other journal by your name. So that is not acceptable, because people will know and then you will be blacklisted. Now, what are the tips to stay safe? Always cite your sources. Whenever you have seen something or read something, cite it. If it is a book, cite it. If it is a journal, cite it. If it is an internet site, cite that thing. Don't claim it to be your own. Use plagiarism checkers before submission. As I said, I Authenticate is one. You can use that. Paraphrase properly and provide attribution. Want help checking your paper or paraphrasing something? You can take a lot of help of the softwares. I'll tell you how to do that. Now, these are the check tools. These are one: Grammarly, Puritin, QText, Scrib, Small CO, Unicheck. You people are younger generation. You are smarter than me, and you would know easily how to check plagiarism. Paid options are always there. You should, if you are the one who has the inclination towards publication, it is better to buy a subscription one. Like computer Windows. A lot of people use, the cracked version of Windows. They can get away with it, but someday if you update that, so it is gone. Your all data is gone, and then you repent that you should have bought the original window. So it is always better to take a paid version. Free options are there. For you are beginners, you can use free options, but they will not give you the detailed thing as the paid option will give you. So you can always go and buy one paid option and you use that forever in the future. Now, I'm coming to the role of AI in ethical writing of a case report. So AI is coming in a big way. Again, I'm telling you, you are smarter generation. I knew about Chat GPT just about 6 months, 1 year back. You would be knowing it for I think more than 5 years. DeepSeek, Copilot. Plagiarism check is a part of AI in paper writing now. So now, where does the AI help in writing a case report? Idea development and research design, the content development and structuring, the literature review and synthesis, data management and analysis, editing, review and publishing support, communication, outreach and ethical compliance will be there if you use AI, which everybody uses. And I'll tell you how is it impacting the paper writing now. This is an article which is just published in 2024. Like what I have taken in the previous slide is from this article. So I've quoted the source that I have taken. I am giving the credit to the person who has done it. Can I show it on an academic meet? Yes, because it is an open access journal. The open access journal means that I can use the data because it is for everybody to see. So I can use that data without infringement of copyright. So in ethical writing, it helps in research assistance, writing enhancement, like a grammar check. So not everybody has come from a presentation convent. So they may make mistakes. So you can use grammar checkers are available in the AI format. You can put your article into that and see for the grammar checking. It is initially, I do remember then big hospitals, big universities, especially in US and UK or in Europe, they have a dedicated team of people who used to do the grammar checking. Now it is fortunate that with the net coming, we can do it, AI coming, we can do it ourselves. Style editors are there. And the tone analyzers means they improve the clarity, coherence, and the professionalism in academic writing. They help in plagiarism detection and language translations. This is an article which is published just now in 2025. Artificial Intelligence Assisted Academic Writing and Recommendations for Ethical Use. So I would request everybody that before you want to take the help of AI, don't feel that the journal in which you are getting it published is not aware of what you are using. So you should be smart enough, because all the, most of the academic publishers are voluntary members of Committee of Publication Ethics and COPE. So they have a common network. It's like, CIBIL score. If you take a loan from a bank and don't repay back, nowadays you get a CIBIL score. You can't get a credit card. If you are defaulted on a credit card payment, your CIBIL score goes down. You cannot take a loan again. So it gives on the net, there will be a complete history of what you are doing. So similarly is with the paper writing or a case report writing. So you should not use AI unethically. JAMA network of journals, they issued specific guidelines on how to use generative AI. The authors are encouraged to outline how AI tools were utilized and how AI generated output was handled. Example, whenever relevant, you will write that this part of my paper or my publication has been taken from AI. So if you have to disclose that, and those journals will accept it, that is not an issue, because the AI will help to reform your case report, how the way nicely you're writing it. But you cannot compensate that by just you don't have an idea, you just put it to the AI, you put any topic to the chat GPT and want to write a case report, it will give you that case report. But when you submit it for publication, they will come to know that this is something you have done, and you can be blacklisted for that. Is AI boon or a bane? I always believe that AI hallucination is a phenomenon where generative AI tools offer convincing but completely fabricated, nonsensical, or factually inaccurate content in response to the prompts provided by the user. And it is this which is picked up by any good journal, and they will just send you back with a reprimand that you should not do this or blacklist you, which will not be good for you. So remember that you can't cheat somebody. So beware of that. So now this is from the same article. So what is ethically acceptable? What is ethically contingent? And what is ethically suspect? So I'll not go through whole of the things. I'll just tell you what is ethically suspect. Drafting a de novo text, meaning that you don't have an idea, you have written nothing, and you just put something in the chat GPT or a DeepSeek, and the article is ready, you've just copy pasted it. Review of literature. Many a times people have been caught because the review of literature given by chat GPT or any AI tool was wrong. Their references were wrong. So they pick up that this is not correct. Checking for plagiarism, you have not checked, you have submitted. Data interpretation may be absolutely wrong. And developing a new concept without knowledge. The chat GPT is a computer. They will just pick up whatever you type there, whatever feed you put in, they will pick it up, but that is not good, and that is considered to be ethical suspect. So it should not be there. And how do you do ethical suspect? Again, now if you are an intellectual contribution, I want to write a case report. This is my idea, but I don't know how to write it. I can take the help of a AI app like ChatGPT or a DeepSeek. I'll put it there like a paraganglioma of urinary bladder, and then see what is coming there. Okay. But if I'm not doing that, if I'm doing that, that is ethical. But if I'm directly going and just typing, write a case report and picking up, that is unethical. Academic competence. When I read what is given there, I should be able to interpret whatever information is being provided to me is correct or not, and I should be able to corroborate that. Again, accuracy of content. It is my responsibility to check what AI is giving me is correct or not. I cannot just copy and paste and submit it and consider that it is correct. So again, that becomes an ethical suspect. That is not acceptable. And there should be a transparency. So whatever part I have taken from AI, I need to disclose in my article that this part of AI have been taken and this is this. So then it is acceptable. That is ethical. Now, what is a case report we discussed? Why to write a case report we have discussed. Role of a journal we have discussed. What is a predatory journal I have given you? What is plagiarism I have given you in a case report, and role of AI writing in a case report. We have discussed almost all the aspects which I wanted to discuss with you. Now, I'm just giving you an example. This is December 2001. Now, this is today is April 2024. So this is almost 23 years back. I published my first case report. This is a pilonidal sinus of a profuse and unusual presentation. This is how long back it goes. And then you take the baby steps to reach where you are today. So this is the article which I told you on 19th of the March. We have got this article accepted as a case report. So it is not important that as you grow the ladder and become senior, you cannot publish as a case report. If you have not seen something and you want to add to the literature, you can surely go back and do that. Now, in this case, I published in Journal of Midlife Science. This is a female journal. It was a female patient who developed something which is very sinister. Even I had not seen that. So I went ahead and published it. This is the article which I was showing you. We got on 25th of April, my resident, first year resident, he has published this because he was convinced what we saw, we had never seen before. So this is how we got this published in the Bladder. So what I want to tell you is that all my publications or plus 50 plus publications have not been to begin with a review journal or a review article or a case series or something. It has been with the case report only. And the last which I am showing you is again a case report. So it is not, don't take it that case report is not important. It is very important. It should be the aim to publish that as to begin with, and later you can see whatever you want to do. So what is the take home message from my presentation I would like to give you is that no start is a small start. You just start writing something or the other, start participating. I'm very happy that I hope all the participants were listening and had joined and not joined just for joining. So you start with this, get inspired, start to write a case report. Whenever you will write a case report, you'll submit, it will get rejected. So it has never been that I have not got a rejection on my paper. Doesn't make a difference. Let it come back. Go through it again, revise it, again submit, resubmit it, discuss it with your seniors. Boss, I had written this thing. Have a review, critical review, intra-departmental. You can discuss with a consultant, junior consultant. Sir, I had written a case report. Please go through this, find out the mistakes, find out where I'm wrong. Tell me whether it is publishable or not, and then submit, and you will suggest in one or the other journals. Not an issue. My thing is that you publish and facilitate your academic career in a big way. More you publish, better it is for you all. Thank you. With the last thing, I would say that I will fall, I will rise, I'll make mistakes, I live, I learn, I've been hurt, but I'm alive, I'm human. I'm not perfect, but I'm thankful.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we'll start with the Q&A session. If anyone has any questions or would like clarification on any of the topics discussed, feel free to raise your hands or drop your questions in the chat box. We will address your queries.
Either people would have understood everything or...
Any questions, you can raise your hands or drop them in the chat box.
Okay. So if there are no questions, then anything anybody wants to know?
Yeah, we've got one question. So citing your own paper as a source, will that count as self-plagiarism?
No, not at all. It's already published. But a case report, you cannot cite again. Na? Case report, you will be, if you have published a case report and say 5 years or 10 years down the line, you have a case series. So you can always say that I published a case report before, and you can always cite your article. Like I'll give you an example, like for a PCNL. So if I've done a study on a PCNL on some other topic, but I want to, publish a new article on a new thing, then you can always cite my article. But for a case report, you cannot cite. The reason is that case report is just one. So you can just publish it once. You cannot publish it again. One Rishabh is there. He wants to ask something.
Yeah, the chat was disabled for me. My question was, how should an undergraduate student go about writing a case report?
Yeah.
Especially when you don't know what improvements can be made or what the clinical people are doing.
Okay. See, for an undergraduate student to write a case report, I would be very practical. It's very difficult to write that because one, you have to understand what is you have to be in a department somewhere for some time to understand what that department is and what is rare. You have to understand, this is case reports, as I said, is a rare thing. So you have to understand what is rare. To understand what is rare, you have to work in that particular field, any sub branch of a medicine for some period of time, like during internship, you can do that because you are posted there for a month or so, or 2 months or 3 months. And that is if you are smart enough to understand and see your consultants are discussing one case more than the other routine cases, then that should light your bulb and say that this may be something different. Let me go home and read about this patient or this X-ray and see if it is rare, and then you can publish now. As a student, If you are smart enough, you are attending your clinics very nicely. Some senior consultant is very, or a junior consultant is very happy with your performance. So he can take your help in looking at the literature or doing some work for you. And he can, give you the due by putting your name into that case report.
So we
You
are
don't need a
getting
guide. You don't
questions.
need a guide for publishing a case report. You don't need a guide, but you obviously in the department where you are working or the unit where you are working, there is a unit head. You need to take the permission of a unit head. You cannot just publish and not without his knowledge, because patients, whosoever the patient in the name of, has to be taken into confidence. And usually the teachers won't mind, because by the level somebody is a professor, he's not interested in writing a case report. Like I gave you an example of the last case report, which is published by my resident. He was very, he was very perturbed to see that. And he said, sir, I've never seen this thing. I said, okay, research. And I have 3 articles. We have the full data of that. I recorded, I gave it to him. He wrote that article, showed it to me. We modified, we sent, got rejected, came back. Again, we did it, and it got published by his name. So not an issue. Yes, we have to be very of ethical issues is a big thing these days. As I said, AI, plagiarism, this is your responsibility to check before submitting. Authenticity of a journal, I said there are a lot of sites in which you can check. You can go online in the PubMed, write that journal, and you can see if that is showing there. There's a PubMed Central, there is a complete list of journals there, and you'll have to spend some time or ask your seniors. They will be there to help you. Title of a case report, which I've shown, it should be catchy. I showed you 3 case reports, and all the 3 have a different title. The title should be, because whenever, suppose if I am the sub-editor of a journal, so I'll receive a lot of, case reports. So I just read the title, and on the title only 90% of the times I'll decide whether I want to accept it or not. So you write a title, you rewrite a title, you discuss with the seniors, ask them how is it looking. And if you are convinced in yourself that it is a good title, then you can send that title. Regarding a case report, it can be a case series or a case report. It comes under the heading of a case report. Up to 5, every journal has their own this thing. Like some journals up to 5 cases, like paraganglioma we have published. It is basically a combination of 3 cases. So it is not gone into a routine publication. It has gone in the subheading of a case report. So if it is 7 or 10, like retrocaval ureter I published, it was 12 cases. So we published as a full length article. Case presentation competition. I am not aware of it, if there is any competition regarding that. Case presentation is, you're asking about the clinical case presentation, or you're asking about the writing? In writing, there is usually no competition. The only good thing is that if you are doing a publication, you should look for a good PubMed index journals. Yeah, clinical case presentation is fine. If you are doing well turn-wise, I don't believe any hospital is running a competition on that. Your exam is a competition. If you are done well and passed with the flying colors, you are a good presenter. As such, I don't believe there is any competition on case presentations. At least I am not aware of. See, you can always confirm with your seniors whether because if it is a PubMed, it should not be shady. Usually it is not. This will always help if you have published something in UG and tomorrow you want to see, it is not about this thing only. Tomorrow you want to go out of country. So you want to go to US, Europe, or any New Zealand, Australia. So the first thing they ask is your CV. And if you don't have anything to show in the CV, what can you show there? You can show your marks. Nobody is interested much. But if you show publication, they see that your inclination is towards research, and medicine is all about research. So then it does make a difference in your CV. Ethical concerns about a patient in publication are not much. You have to take a consent of the patient, but for a case report, it is not much. For a full length article, if you're writing a thesis or something, then it is an ethical issue. For a case report, it is not much, because it's an isolated case event which has already happened, and you're seeing that case for the first time. So it is not much of an ethical issue. Don't worry, wait for your turn. You'll definitely get someday a rare case. So it comes with the time. Don't worry. You have patience. Someday you'll go to some other place, and it is not. It should not be like a, what do you call this? As a, somebody has published and you have not published, like FOMO. You get fear of not having something. It should not be there. You will get your turn. Don't worry. If you have in you, you will surely get your turn sometime in life.
So one
most
of the
people-
participants, they have asked a question that what is the ideal time to complete a case report?
There's no ideal time. See, there is no ideal time to do a case report. For a beginner, for a person like me, if you ask me, I'll do a case report in a day. For a beginner, you may take about a month. So it's not about, nothing is ideal in research. So if you have taken some time to put the important thing is, then you should submit the article only when you are fully prepared, revised, check plagiarism, not use AI. You are very sure that you are ready with this. Like if you put some pictures there, you have not gone through the, the journal in which you want to put, they have that this megapixels only will accept. You have the size of this thing should be this, the format should be this. So if you've not done that and just submitted it, it will come back. So you take your time first in correcting, understanding what you want to write. Then the second phase is collecting the data. Third is write up. Fourth is correction. Fifth is as per the journal, and then you submit. So it takes time. It takes about a month, 2 months time to send it for publication. It's not, there's no time as such, because that case report is with you only. And you are been authorized to publish it. Nobody else will publish. It's not like a race. It's not like one case report cannot be submitted by 2 people. So only you are going to submit that. You take your time to, make that this thing. Journals do not have, editors don't have patience. If you have not, if they don't like you or 2 or 3 times you have done it, they will just politely refuse your publication. If you have not done submitted as per their guidelines.
There is another question, sir, by Soham. He's asking if, as a UG, should he focus more on doing meta-analysis or publishing
Not
case
at all.
report?
Not at all on meta-analysis. You will not understand that. Meta-analysis is for experts to do. It is not for UGs to do. It is not for PGs to do. I'm not saying you are not capable of doing it, but you should not do it because you don't have a meta-analysis means it is a highest form of publication you can get. So in this, you need to know the subject very thoroughly before you want to do meta-analysis. How many people can work on a case report? Every journal has their own. Some accept 3 or at the most 4 authors. They don't accept more than that for a case report. So every journal has their own, thing. You should go through the instruction for the authors to know how many, they are accepting it.
So there is one more question. If a case is 5-year-old case, will it be published now?
Yeah, why not? If it's a rare case, whenever you want to publish, it's not an issue. It may be 10 years old. If you get in hand to something which was very rare, provided that case report has not been published by anybody else in the department or by anybody else from that institution, definitely you can publish. You're in
So
second
there
year.
is another question by Rishabh. He's asking, do journals have limit on resubmissions or revisions?
No. There is no cap on that. But the only thing is that if they have asked for revision, that is something different. Because see, if a case report I have submitted to a external, the editor feels that it can be published, he's happy with the writing, he will send it for a review to me, peer review. So it comes to me. Then if I have some queries, I'll put it back to the editor so that he puts it back to the submitter, and that submitter will be asked by how do you explain this or how do you explain that. That is revision. Revision is the responsibility of the journal. So if some paper comes back you for the revision, you mean you should be happy that it is almost accepted, provided you are able to answer the queries in a right way. But if you submit it and it comes from the editor back that your illustrations are not good or your word count is not adequate, things like that, then the editor may feel that you're not very serious about it. You have not read the instructions, and he can politely refuse you the second time. Revision is different than resubmission. Revision is the onus lies on the journal because they have some queries and they want to get it clarified. So once you clarify, then not an issue.
So we have another question by Karthik. Is publishing in preprint fine if the case report gets rejected multiple times?
No. If it is getting rejected multiple times, there are 2 issues. One, either it has not been written properly, And second, it is not a rare issue. So it is not like that. Scopus index, yeah, Scopus is very good. Scopus is, see, it is not about what indexation. This is very important. I didn't touch this point because you people are too junior for that. So it is not indexation which is only important. It is the impact factor of the journal which is very important. So let me tell you, give an example that some journal may be very good indexed like PubMed index, but its impact factor would be very low. But some journals are Scopus indexed, but their impact factor would be very high. So it is more not only important indexation, it is also important about impact factor. What do you mean by impact factor? Means that the publication in, suppose in X journal, something which has been published is being cited a number of times. So that means it's a good publication, it's a rare publication, it is adding to the literature. So the impact factor of that journal goes up. So you don't only have to look about the Scopus or PubMed, but sorry, you have to look about the impact factor also.
So we have a question for Dipinder that he's a second year.
About that he's in second year right now, and is it the right time? I don't think, Dipinder, this is too early, but it is good that if you want to publish, the first thing is that you should start reading a journal. You should understand what journal means. Before you want to publish, you should understand what is a medical journal. At second year, if you really are interested in publishing, see, it should not, again, I'm telling you, it should not be FOMO effect. It should not be the fear of losing. It should be that first you understand what you want to publish. What is publication? What do you mean by a publication? So you to understand that, you should start reading medical journals. If you are smart enough and understand that, I suppose I want to take orthopedics as a branch, start reading orthopedic journals, see what is there, and then this happens. Credit means, yes, you can if somebody has helped you, you can always put in a credit line. There is an option available that this senior has helped me in writing the journal. It always helps. It is always good to credit somebody. Saying thank you to somebody who has helped you is always a welcome step. No issues at all.
We have another question. What all evidence should be added in a case report to show that the report written for the particular patient is legitimate and real without breaching the patient's autonomy?
See, whenever you write a case report, suppose if you are writing a case report on a disease, so you will have the complete data of the patient. Sometimes some journals will ask for the data, like your MRD number or what is the case report. So you have the pictures of that patient. Like what we published is for not even like a case report. Now there are other options, radiological publications, like an X-ray. You have seen an X-ray which is very rare, very unique. You can publish that. So only you have that X-ray. They will run it for plagiarism. So if you have taken it from a net and send it for a publication, then it is plagiarism. So, but if you have that X-ray and the information about the patient's identity is not discussed. You never write in a case report that Lalita, resident of this, a female married to this, is our case. That is never written. You just write a 45 years old female. So the details of the patients are never divulged with. And even if there is some details on the CT or this, it's your responsibility to fudge that up. Fudge means to just wipe that off and just give the relevant information to like the name has to be hidden. The residence, which place they belong to, has to be, they have to be blinded and then to be submitted to the journal. So it's not an ethical issue at all. Anything else you want me to answer to you? I think we have answered the majority of the questions. If there are any, you can send it to.
There is another question from Tanya Agarwal.
Yeah, carry on.
She has worked with the faculty member in first year on a review, but she left the college. It would get selected, and one such abstract was already published by her. Will it be ethical to do a literature review on that abstract again?
No, you can do a literature review on that. That will not be accepted because you will have to take the permission of that senior, and she has to be taken into confidence. And then you can write it as a review of literature, but it will be not accepted because you are not adding anything new to the literature. So you're trying to understand a case report once published. It is a part of the literature which is available on the net. Now you cannot publish the same thing again with the review of literature. So that is self plagiarism. So that is not, you cannot do the same data, you cannot publish 2 times. So that will not be acceptable.
I think that's all the questions we had for today. So at last, on behalf of my team, I would like to express my gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Rahul Gupta, for taking out his time. GAIMS is really grateful to you for being part of this webinar and your willingness to share such helpful insights from the case report writing. I look forward to applying what I learned. Thank you again for your expertise, sir. Also, thank you to all the participants for being part of this series. Thank you. You may leave the meeting now.